Okay, we're recording now, so thank you to those of you who are here and on time today. I have to say that we had a good first week together, but we had a bad ending to the first week and a bad start to today. Thank you, all of you who are here and doing what you're supposed to do, but I don't know where the other half of your classmates are. And since we know that one of the key things in here is building trust, I don't trust people who don't show up for things. One of the things that I think is very important, especially as skill development for younger people who are coming out of COVID and understanding what it means to develop business relationships. Luca is not here this morning, is he? No. He's sick. Okay. Well, it would have been nice if he had told me that so that I could have anticipated him. I don't know about your culture, but in mine, if you can't make it to something, you generally give someone a message. Luca invited me to go and watch him play tennis on Saturday. It was raining terribly. I had an appointment, I had a class, and I went anyway on my bicycle in the rain to find something I had never seen before in terms of the place, to find a kid that I'd only met in class once before, and to watch and support him for an hour. Why did I do that? To model the notion that trust is often about presence. It's about being present, about being attentive, about being engaged. Luca, I guarantee you, trusts me now. Now, I trust him less today because he didn't bother to let me know that he wasn't showing up. He told you to tell you, which is nice. I would suggest in a professional world, though, be your own self-advocate and tell me directly would be my preference. But thank you, Vittorio, for at least letting me know. Now, I say that too because if I go out here and I look at Microsoft Teams, and what's neat for Microsoft Teams is if I go and I look in the chat, I can see that we had a meeting together that we did online the other day that provides for me an attendance report. That attendance report I can look up and it will tell me exactly who was online for how long and how much engagement people had when they were online. And the first thing that I know when I come down here, and I'm going to get rid of these little messages in here, is I know it's just these right over there. Alt-H-O-I, let's make them bigger. And so here's me. Here are all of you. The count says 24 people were online. Oh, nice. Odd. I thought there were 31 people registered for the class. I'm wondering why 7 people didn't bother to show up. If your name is on there, then turn around to somebody that you know, give them a little high five, be like, dude, I did what I was supposed to do. If your name is not on there, and Matt Bauman's name is actually on there, so there's actually 23, which means 8 of you weren't there, then I would suggest take your notebook, your pen, or your laptop and smash yourself upside the head twice. Because you weren't there. Actually, Willem, I think your name is on there twice because you logged in differently. So I think that actually means only 22 people were online, which means 9 people weren't there. And my favorite person is, where's Freak? Is he in here? Logged in for all of 42 seconds, which tells me that he logged in and went, oh shit, and then left. Because he logged in 9 minutes or 8 minutes after it started and then decided it just wasn't for him. Or maybe your Wi-Fi didn't work or whatever the case may be. But people, you are the most digital society in the history of the world. Everything you do leaves a footprint, and everything you do can be reviewed. Now, I look at all these people here and I go, okay, at least the people who are on there have established a minimum maintenance of trust with me. Then I even dropped into the chat box, hey, everybody, are you engaged out there? And it shows me this is all anybody did really during the course of the meeting in terms of turning their camera on and off or meetings on and off. And I had encouraged at least one of you to keep your camera on. So I'd be like, hey, Zoe, can you hear us? And I could see nobody had their camera on at all. So every one of you who were on the meeting decided to ignore the message of trust that I built for you. And then at least several of you asked questions. which I appreciated greatly. So are you understanding yet? You're going to ask me for what, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million to invest with you? Why would I trust you? Right now, I'm working with a major company on building a curriculum that's all about building trust. And one of the key themes in it is, what are people's motives? So if you don't show up, or if you only show up partially, or you don't engage, my question is, well, why not then? What are they doing? And now I'm questioning your motives. Where those people who showed up on time were on the whole time and were engaged the whole time, I know what their motives were. Their motives were to adhere to the rules and outlines that were given, and now I trust them implicitly. So I'm not trying to denigrate any of you or saying you're worse people. I love you all as human beings, but we're here as business professionals too. So I'm trying to make sure that that is something that's aware so that you know how trust is built. Part of it is presence. Now, why does that also become important for me? This is being recorded, so I need to be careful. But I will tell you this, I emailed someone at Fontys months ago about setting up a property tour. I didn't hear from that person for a long time. I followed up, didn't hear from that person. I went at him again and finally heard back. Then that person responded to me this weekend. And I said, look, why don't you just connect me to the other person that's going to do the tour so that I don't have to work through you any longer? So I got that introductory email today that said, hey, would you be willing to do this for the professor on Wednesday, June 6th? Should I go back and show you the original messages that talked about exactly the dates that I was interested in? So now I have no trust for the people that work here because they're not being inclusive of me as a visiting professor. And I'm trying to arrange something for the benefit of you all who are their students. You're not mine, but for 3 weeks. You're theirs for at least 3 years. And I'm trying to create something special. So I'm not sure what we're doing yet on Wednesday, is what I'm trying to tell you. Because I don't know if the person that I'm now communicating will get back to me. So I will let you know as soon as possible. If it was up to me, this would have been locked and loaded before I saw you in person. But I can't control what I can control. So these are the games that we play. But at least today, we're going to play some fun games. So in honor of that, I wore my game shirt for you guys today. Yep. Thank you. Yep. Champs. All right. Yep. I I don't know yet. I'm trying to find out, and I will let you know as soon as I hear from them. And if I don't hear from them by the end of class tomorrow, then there is no plan for Wednesday. And if you like when the feedback sessions come, then please let them know that I failed you, or that they failed you, or that we weren't able to execute the curriculum because my colleagues locally weren't able to do what we had thought that they would do. So thank you for asking. All right. So to keep us all on the same page, in your WhatsApp group, I went ahead and put up just a small version of some things with a few changes to make sure that we all are on the same model as our goal. So you notice in my PDF here, there are 2 significant changes you can find right away. The other day, I talked about version control with you. So this one, you notice, is mine. It's the version for the professor, but it's my second version. The other small change you'll notice, the model now has 20 pages in it. After I was done with our guest speaker on Friday, he suggested that I make a couple of small tweaks to what we were planning to do. And so that's what I did. The changes are not substantive, But as it relates to you and what was expected of you for today, you will notice one small thing in here, which when we get into the rent roll and we had our 2026 and it was laid out nicely, the thing that I did in here is went ahead and just simply highlighted all these increases for us so that we could be attentive to making changes going forward, because he talked a lot about how their business is not necessarily about one of the four asset classes. What were the four asset classes he discussed? Anybody take notes or have memory of what our guest speaker talked about? He said, when it comes to real estate investment, everybody agrees there's four. Now, I know this stuff. I work this stuff, but I got the notes right here. Anybody else take them? Who wants to build some trust points? Equity, okay, I'll take that as a reasonable answer. It doesn't match my list, but what were the four different types of investments he suggested? You all live somewhere, don't you? That's one of the nice things about the Netherlands. There's like no homeless people here. It's unbelievable. I have a homeless dude that lives on my block. He lives underneath a bench on my block. There are a lot of homeless people here. I haven't seen, but more astute than me. So residential should be one of them, right? He said anything that has more than 4 units would be considered an investment in a residential property, an apartment building. That was one. What were the other ones? Excellent. Office was another category. This would be considered office real estate. There are companies in the US who do invest solely in residential real estate, including on college campuses. So that if you all wanted to have some student housing, I could buy a building that's residential, put you all in it, and make it close to campus so you could walk. That's one. Then I could buy this building and I could rent it out to the university and say, you can use this for your offices. That's the second. What was the third? Excellent. Industrial, warehouses, Amazon shipping points, storage facilities. What's the other one? Retail. Very good. Trust points. Building up there. Good. So he talked about they don't invest in an asset class. They specifically defined their value add as being what? They don't seek a class, they seek opportunity. They look for unique opportunity. So, for example, the building that he was suggesting buying right now that I dropped in the chat box, that I said you should look at it, the 360 that had the cell phone tower on it, had one office building on there with 2 office spaces in there. And how many tenants did they have inside those buildings? 0. The buildings had been vacant for years. Talk about this notion that cash is king. I can buy anything if it's associated to cash flow. I can say right now, I want to buy this from you. And then the reason that I want to buy this from you is not that I'm going to use it, but maybe I can rent it to that side of the room for someone who came here that didn't have their computer charged up fully today. And then this becomes cash flow generating for me. I could buy your piece of paper right there from you that says your name, Kira, on it. And I could buy that from you if you promise to give me €1 a year for the rest of your life. all we're doing is trading cash flows. So when he talked about buying a building that has no tenants, there's no cash flows. So what is he buying? The potential to get new cash flows into that system. And the system that he talked about then buying is the notion of stabilizing a building. So when we in here see this down below, and you see that you have 81% of the building that is occupied and 19% of the building that is empty. A stabilized building would be anything that's 93+% occupied. So what that suggests is when we are building a financial model with a rent roll in it, not only do we have the chance to increase rents over time, but we should also have the chance to come in and rent spaces that are previously unoccupied to stabilize it. And when we do that, we want to be able to see changes in the cash flows that will come out of it. So today we're going to do some modeling where we're going to start with the rent roll that I'm expecting you have fully set up and ready to go for the day. And we're going to connect it into the cash flow projections. And then we're going to test and see, well, what if we were to raise rents? Or what if we could rent a vacant space? How would that impact our future cash flows? So that's where we're going to start today. Any questions about what we're doing today? Yeah, go ahead. Yep. Changes were cosmetic, so there's no substantive changes. The numbers should all still match, but if I was a student in this class, the first thing that I think I would do is I would go to this little WhatsApp group that we've got right here, and I would download this thing and have it sitting there and have it be your cross-reference. So let's go ahead and do that. And then that way we can always back check. Because ultimately, everybody's got different stylistic approaches to modeling. It's the number matching that matters. So let's have that thing available for you off to the side. And I don't like when it opens inside of Chrome. So I like when things open inside their apps. So I'll have the PDF off to the side, and then we can cross-check it. Okay? All right. So let's do this then. Before we get started, I had asked you to do a little bit of this formatting for the weekend, and one other change I did make. I think it looks different from the first to the second. Look at what this PDF looks like right now. Here's my 2026. It's showing me this by suite number on each consecutive page here. Oops. I should have put that one. Hey, you know what? Let's make the change dynamically together. I think I put up the wrong PDF. All right, go to your rent roll, please. And let's take a look at what your rent roll looks like right now. When I go ahead and look at my rent roll, and column A is where I have all of my different suites, and then I'm going by years from square footage through annual. The last time I looked at this, before I had made these changes over here, when you print preview, I've got 10 pages, and look at how when I get to this second page, I only see square footage. Which one of these is suite 107? Which one of these is suite 203? I don't have it on there. So let me show you how to get that on there. Two of the skills that I like to work with when it comes to printability are the page layout view and then the page setup on the sheet level. So let's look and see what I mean. When I say the page layout view, here's your normal view. Here's page layout. I actually lied to you. I hate page layout. It's page break preview. This is where we ended the other day, where I said you should drag that blue line to be at the end of every year so that everything printed on a clean year. But what we didn't do was add column A as a descriptor to each of the following lease term year pages. So the way that we're going to do that is I want you to go to page layout. This is where Mac's actually nice. You can go to page layout. You have a button right away called page setup. You should be able to hit the page setup button, no problem. And then over here on the sheet level, you see where it says on sheet columns to repeat at the left? If I put my cursor in there and then highlight row or column A in here and then print preview, I want you to look and see the difference. Here, I now see all of my suite numbers, and that suite number stays on every page. So I have that descriptor now in there so that every rent roll page prints with that left view. But you noticed also when I was in that page layout, page setup, when I was dragging and dropping my blue bars, things got shrunk to 78%. I'll tell you this, in my real world, people my age and older can't see anything that's below 85%. It's too small. But look at how much blank space we had down here on that printout. Because our page layout, page setup, is set up as a portrait page, why not shift it to landscape? Then why not reset this to 100? And let's just look at what that looks like now. Doesn't this look like a far better way to present the data? So one of the things I said is dynamic in modeling is the variable inputs. We're always changing things. What if this tenant leaves? What if that building gets larger? But one of the things that's also changing is the way that people demand to see things. So in review, what I would like everybody to do under page layout, page setup, I would like landscape orientation on the model. I would like it at 100%, and I would like the sheet to have column A repeated at the left so that the print preview for the rent roll gives me 10 beautiful pages that looks like that. Why is that in value to me? Let's take a look at this for a moment. Now let's say going into 2027, we apply a 3% increase to this thing. Look at the numbers down below. I've got 99,000 here. All right, yeah, it's 99,000. And then 1.19 million there. If I advance forward with a 3% increase, do you see how the numbers have now dynamically updated below? And what if I also was able to take this little 184 square foot property that I have right now and increase it so that it's not vacant anymore, but I now can get $25 in per square foot rent? How might that change my occupancy? That's not big enough to change my occupancy. Let's double check and see if our formula is right, because it needs to be looking at here, 49,963. Oh, because it said vacant in here. That's right, because we're adding it up based off of vacant. So let's take that out. I think if we just take vacant out and we put in sample, let's see, does that pick up on our formula down below? Yep. I now move from 49,963 to 50,147. I want to do one thing, but I'm sensing before I move on, would it be beneficial if I gave you the version that I have right now for those of you who are feeling you're out of sync with where I am? That's what I can tell. All right, let's go ahead and do this then. Give me 2 minutes to save a different version of this, and then we'll all pick up with the one that I have. Alt FA. What are we calling this? AAM5 dash. What did we call this the other day? Financial model dash. What's today's date? 2605 version 1. We'll save that one in there. This then becomes the student version. I want to reset this and this and this and this and this. And then overview, rent roll, sources and uses. I'm going to do that. Do that. Do that. That. Oh boy. That. 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 All right. Alt FA. This is 2605 version 1. We'll come back over here. And then we'll get rid of that too. Here's your rent roll. Alt FA. Okay. Then we need to upload it to this thing. New file upload. Put that there, but we gotta close it first. And there it is. And then we have to make sure that we share it with everybody. And I want you to be viewers on this. Nikes, we'll just do it like that. And then share copy link. And then over here, here is our model as of this morning. All right, see if you can get that. And then we'll all work from the same one. Someone give me a thumbs up when they are able to access. And please, please, please make sure you download it. Don't work on the common one. Get it onto your environment, because if you make changes to the big one, it's going to affect everybody. Zoe, I got a thumbs up from anybody else. You're able to download it. Yes, love, thanks. Okay, great. Then we can work together. So I want to show you how to do something fun in here that I really like. Give you a minute, no problem. I'll give you 2 minutes if you need it. That's the kind of guy I am. So generous. And then what did we just call this one? This is AM5, and I'll pretend like I'm a student and I'll work on this one with you. And then do I have it printing out for you? Yes, I do. Okay, great. And we're on the rent roll. All right. Can I move on? The trains on average run 5 to 8 minutes late, I noticed. That's what I've noticed here too. I went to Maastricht yesterday. Anybody been there? That's a cool town, isn't it? It's like an old Roman kind of city with like the cannons and things. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. Okay. So let me show you something fun. This is an interesting workaround that I learned when I told you the story last week about how when I was modeling in real estate, my boss came to me once and said, "Hey, we owned 437 different properties. what if we sold this property? What would that look like to us? And then I built that model for him. And then 2 days later, he's like, no, put that one back in there and then do this one. I was like, oh my God, which one am I trying to keep? How do I compare? And then he would ask me like, well, what would that look like instead? I'm like, I don't even remember what you're talking about anymore. So I learned how to build dynamic dashboards. So let's do this together. I'll show you something fun. So this is the rent roll right now, right? What I'd like you to do on the rent roll is let's come. Oh, should I do it from the cash flow projections instead? Should I do it from the? Yeah, I'm gonna wait. Put that on the side. Someone remind me. Do the dynamic thing after we do the cash flows. That'll make more sense to you. All right, let's start on the cash flows. Cash flows, cash flows, cash flows, cash flows. Okay. All right. Right here, we're going to start over in year 1 in C4. What cash flows are going to do is pull in our revenue sources and then start assigning our cost structures so that we can get to our net cash flow ability to pay back our debt that we're going to borrow and to pay back our investors for their dividends. So let's start here in C1. Let's do equals. You use your navigation however you like. I'm going to use my keyboard and I'm going to be moving between sheets like this. So I'm using control page up and control page down. You might be able to just use page up and page down, or you might have to play with function page up or page down, or Windows page up and page down. Every computer is different. Or if you need to, you can just use your mouse, because what we're doing is I need you to go to the rent roll, and in the rent roll, I need you to pull in the year 1 value of 1,194,645 and press enter so that this becomes rent roll H30. That's our first year. Then year 2, same thing. You need to do equals. You need to get down to your rent roll again. And then we need our second year, which is in O30. Then you need year 3, which is then going to be in, oops, I did O30 again. Year 3 is in which year? What column? Is it V? One of the things that make people more productive than others is pattern recognition. We're doing this a little bit strange in that we've got all these columns in the rent roll, but then we're doing them sequential on the cash flow projections. How many columns is it between H and O? HIJKLMNO, 7. And then how many is it to V? 7. So with pattern recognition, if you wanted to then, but this is where it gets a little bit goofy, what's the next one going to be then? What's the fourth year going to be? We're going to go from V to what? AC, because then the alphabet starts to repeat itself. But once you know that, you can copy paste and then you can just change it yourself. So AC, DEFGHIJ. This one should be AJ 30. Then what's after J? KLMNOPQ. AQ. So however is the most comfortable for you, I need to get all 7 years of this into my rent roll so that I can predict all of my values. Now, here's something else that there's no right or wrong to financial modeling layout. You can set it up however you like. What I don't like down here is I can't really see what year this is down below. If I wanted to, I could go ahead and label this so that it makes it easier for me to find these things. I could say that that one's year one and that one is year two, and etc. However you want to do it so that you learn how to be productive. Do I expect you to be expert financial modelers by the end of this class? No, I only get like 6 hours with you. But I expect you to start thinking about how to use this tool for productivity. So Q R S T U V W X A X year 8. Now we're all the way to year 8. And what's year 8? B what? BD? BE? BE. All right, BE. Bam! Then what's the next one? BL. And last? BS. Don't lie to me. What is it? Don't tell me it's BS. That's bullshit. Nicely done. Good work. So this cash flows is going to start off by referencing things from the rent roll. Now we need reimbursements. Now, this is where if I'm a student again, I probably did we download the revised one? I think we did. Didn't we open up the PDF that has our version 3 so that we can cross-check it? Did I upload the? No, I uploaded the model for you. I didn't upload the PDF. All right, so now I have to think about where that one is. V222. What did I do with that one? Is it this V2 one, Prof? Here, let me just double check. Is this the 20 pager? Because I told you I wanted to keep the PDF open separately, and then we didn't. All right, hold on. I try to give you all the tools at once, and now I'm getting myself thrown off. That one. Okay. Alt WL, back up to here. Alt FY3, save as PDF. And make that an alt. And we will give this then, why don't we consolidate our naming convention? What are we calling this? AAM5 dash financial model dash, and then this is 22, what's it? Or no, today's 26? 2605 V1. Is that what you guys are working on? Is that the naming convention in your file right now? All right, so we'll make this one look the same for now. But I want this to be vprof though, because I want this one to be like the answer key. So let's make that one the answer key. Yeah, I don't know why. It's so weird. Yeah, it should be day, month, year, but we don't do it like that. I have no idea why. All right, I have my PDF. I do. And then we can keep that one open because this is what we're trying to build. And then let me share that one with you. New file upload. And then that one. Ba, 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 ba. And then I have to share that one. And anyone with a link. And then share, copy the link, and then put it in the WhatsApp for your cross reference. All right, there's the one. So I suggest go back out in the WhatsApp and make sure that you have this PDF open off to the side so that you can look at it, make sure that it looks exactly like the one that I'm building with you right now. Because this is what we just did in here. We were pulling in the page that has our cash flow projections, which is, if you notice, it's on page 14 and it's on page 15. And we're going to use years 1 through 6 on page 14 and years 15 through 20, years 7 through 10 on page 15 of 20. So notice we've got that same thing with our print layout where we're using that repeat our columns. So let's go ahead, and since I gave you mine, yours should be working already. All right, now you got to make sure I'm working in the right one here, not that one, this one. Page layout, page setup. Is it yours on landscape? Because I gave you mine that's set up right. Should be 100. And then on sheet, you notice how we're doing that same thing of repeating columns to the left. So it's the same layout that I just showed you on the rent roll, so that when we print preview just these active sheets, it should look exactly like this. Why do I show you that? Because when we cross-reference this, do you see how column B says assumptions? And the first assumption that we make is that reimbursements, there are many different types of leases. There's what's called a gross lease. There's what's called a single net lease, a double net lease, and a triple net lease. All it means is that when I negotiate, my terms could say, hey, you know what? You want to just pay me as much as possible, and I'll take care of all the bills for you. I'll pay the real estate taxes for you. Don't worry about it. I'll pay for the snow plowing for you. Don't worry about it. I'll pay for the cleaning for you. Don't worry about it. Reimbursements represent, if they don't agree to pay for everything in a big lump, I can go back to them and say, hey, you know what? We actually had to spend more money to plow the snow this year than last. Your portion of it is 2.5% of your rent. So those are called reimbursements. So in this model right here, I've got the word assumptions. So off of the cash flow projection sheet in B5, I want you to put equals. And on equals, now we're going to spend a ton of time on the overview tab. And look at the overview tab. You can think of that as kind of your executive summary cover sheet. On the executive summary cover sheet, there is a little legend right underneath the header information that says, if you're in yellow and centered, that's what we call input cells. That means that's where I want somebody to type something. So on that page is typed the number 2.5%. I want you to highlight that 2.5% and hit equals, because when we build something on the sheet level, if I want to make an assumption, I assume I'm buying it on this date. I assume I'm paying this interest rate on the loan. I assume that it has this many square feet. I want to make assumptions in one place, and then everywhere else, I pull those assumptions in. So the place that we will document and make our assumptions is anywhere that's yellow on the overview, because of those things that easily can be changed. And then we pull those assumptions in on something like cash flows, so that if in year one, I need to know how much my reimbursements are, they are equals, highlight year one, multiplied by, find the assumption, and then lock that onto the reference. F4 or function F4, depending on your keyboard. Yep. And then Frick, was it you who told me it was Alt plus last time? Alt equals something like that. Alt equals my guy. You know what? Sometimes it only takes 42 seconds to get it done. So sum up the things up above so that in year one, we'd have 1.2 million in effective gross revenue. Yep. Okay. Great. No problem. We're recording it now. Okay. Next. Real estate tax. We're going to do equals. We're going to go back to our overview and we're going to highlight. Notice we have real estate tax, CAM, and then management fees all sitting in 3 rows underneath each other. So equals, enter. That brings the $5 one over here for us. And because we put them so nicely underneath each other, if I copy and paste, it goes overview B12, overview B13, overview B14, and it brings them all down sequentially for me. So I bring in the first one and then just copy and paste the rest, and it's good to go. Now, these operating expenses, I want you to note, are on a basis of per square foot. So what this really means is the real estate taxes I pay are going to be $5 per square foot that I have in the building. So in year one, how much am I going to pay in real estate tax? It's equals, let's go over to this 5. Now we're going to think this through for just a second because I also want to be able to copy and paste quickly. But if I do my F4 here, and then I copy and paste down, it's always going to be looking at B9. And I don't want it to always look at B9. I want it to look at B9, then B10, then B11. So the B locks, but the row doesn't. So the way we do that is if you hit F4 2 more times, it's lock the B, don't lock the 9. So $B, plain 9, and then when I enter and and then copy paste, it should go ahead and do B9, B10, B11. I'm just showing you that, but I'm not done with the formula. I'm just showing you that that's why we're going to do it. Because our formula is actually going to be $5 per square foot. So $B, 9, multiplied by, back off of the overview, find me my square footage sitting in D1 and lock that one down hard. $D, $1. The overview cell D1, which is the square footage. Thank you for asking, Rosita. Now that I have that, I'm going to copy this first one and I'm going to select those bottom 2 beneath it, and off of the home, I'm going to paste, and I'm just going to paste formulas. You got something else? All right, we can take a look in just a sec. And see, after you do that, does that match the numbers that are in mine? Because one of mine did, but the other one didn't. Oh, management fee shouldn't be, sorry, management fee is done differently. Sorry, we're going to redo this third formula. Management fee should be a percentage. It should have worked here, though. Did you get it to work right here? Did you see how that worked? You can't find square footage off the overview, D1. Yep, overview D1. All right. Cash flow projections, management fee is going to be equals to the percentage of our total rents. So equals C6 multiplied by that hard lock, oops, of B11. I totally spazzed out there. The total rents multiplied by the hard lock in B11 is at 61,226. All right. Let me see yours real quick. Yours didn't work. Yeah. Oh, you fixed? Well, that's even better. Woohoo! What a great team. I'm waiting. It's all right. All right. And then my new favorite is Alt equals 628. 628. My new guy. Don't be sorry. It's okay. That's what I'm here for. The management fee is hard lock the B11 multiplied by the effective gross rents. The common area maintenance. You bet. It's $B10 multiplied by overview $D1. Yeah, it's $4.25 per square foot. So it's $4.25 multiplied by square footage. Yeah. All right, let's go for about 5 minutes more or so, and then we'll take a quick break and let some people catch up. Then we'll keep plowing ahead. All right, net operating income is equal to effective gross revenue minus total operating expenses. So my NOI should be $596 and change. It is the effective gross revenues minus the total operating expenses. So revenues minus expense. Ça va? No? Ça ne va pas? Wait a minute. Nein begriffen? Nee. Not nein. Damn. Your EI thing screws me up. Because it's A, B, C, D, is your E, It's A, and then what's your I? E. Yeah, that's not how it works. A, B, C, D, in French. E, I in English. Can't do it. Okay, you with me? If so, here's my favorite part about modeling. When you model well down, everything else you do should work well over. Let's double check on this one here, though. We need this one to be locked B10 always. So let's go back up here and let's double lock that one again. So you want to go back now because before we copy paste to the right, you want to make sure that that common area maintenance is $B, $10. You want to do the same up here. Make sure that this one is $B, $9. When I model down, I model with relative locking. When I then apply it across, then you relock because we want to copy everything to the right. So we got to make sure that it now stays put. So let's see how that works. If you've done it like I've done it, if we go up here, we should be able to copy and paste it all and see if we are done. Up. All right. Copy. And let's see. Do we get it? Paste. It didn't. Why are these not working? Yeah. Oh, don't. Hey, I just lied. I lied. Don't copy and paste the rent roll. That's right, because it's got all those funny little column references. Hold on. I killed my computer. All right. Okay. Just do from this level down. Just do from that level down, and bam. Now it works. Whoosh. That was close. Apple person, how we doing today? Eh? Not loving life? Meh. Yeah. You gonna come over there then? Hashtag just means make the column wider. Yeah. I made that. Yep. And then paste all and then do the same with the prime number. Thank you for double checking. That was my fault. Yes, ma'am. Something went wrong. You know what went wrong? You're enrolled for this module. Yeah. You did the same thing. Okay, so we have it here. Ah. I don't know how to do that. All right, so just make them all so that I can see them. So how do we do on yours? Where's home? Cool. Okay, and then it's over there. Oh no, those are yours. Where's maybe just what's the what's happening? Dark is what yours is. Oh, that's this one, isn't it? Oh, it's just I can tell what these are. What do these ones mean? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one. Is there one that says? Well, I want. Oh, I see that there too. All right, so that means your formulas are equals. Right, multiplied by dollars. So those ones are all. Those ones. So up top are all right. Those are all okay. But let me see. This is where things are. Okay. That's put a dollar sign in front of the E. Yeah, also, and those dollar sign E, dollar sign nine. So, yeah, enter. Same thing down below, dollar sign E, dollar sign 10. And, yep. Now copy paste those ones. Yep. All of them, yeah, they should all work. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so here's the thing. When we're copying and pasting down, we don't do the dollar sign on the phone. But when we go over, then we have to do it on both. Yeah, oops, well, we're running into somebody's board. Okay, question. Yep. Equals. 425, lock it twice. Yep, it's right there. Oops, sorry, locked code. We're right over. And that multiplied by overview, square footage. Yep, you're correct. And 4. Yeah, you got to cut 4 that one too. Overview, do you want? Yeah. 4. Oops, then you kill the whole formula. Just on the D1. That's 4. Enter. And then this one is equal. That one. Okay. Start over. Equals. Yeah. Lock it. Multiply by. Okay. And copy this. You should be all right. Yeah.
The size of the box.
So these ones are right. These ones are right. This one's right.
No.
That's right. That's right. Okay. It's the you didn't block that one. That's function F4.
Oh, yeah, but like actually what is the value?
Function F4. How do you get the dollar signs on over your D1? How do you get the dollar signs in front of overview D1? I need dollar signs around both. And then overview V1 with dollar signs on both. Whatever you were just doing over there, do it again. Yeah. There you go. Enter. Do the same thing here. Put the dollar signs on the D1. Enter. And then on this one too. You need dollar signs on the C6. Sorry, on the B11. On the B11. Yep. Enter. Now copy paste everything across. Just copy.
You go straight this one.
The match. You're welcome. Yeah, so what's tricky is just knowing how and when and what to lock with the function F4. That's what'll throw you off. All right, this is a good natural time to take a 10-minute break. When we come back, I'll show the dashboard, then we'll do the debt service, and then we'll finish with sources and uses. Ten minutes, no more. And if anybody needs my help, I'll come and help you.